In our upside-down world, Democrats are now the ones demanding more information on Jeffrey Epstein. It's politically transparent and politically genius, although I will tell you how it is going to backfire on Democrats in a minute. Living in Washington, D.C., it is hard not being cynical, but I try. I really do. But Democrats now obsessed with the Epstein story is a perfect example of why Washington, D.C. is a miserable place. Take a listen.
You talked about conspiracy theories. The best disinfectant is just to get the information out there. People want to know the answers. They want to know, are rich and powerful folks being protected?
At the very least, the Judiciary Committee should be demanding that the Epstein files be made public. That is a bipartisan agenda. At least I thought it was.
Where were these guys for 4 years of Biden? Seriously. Nowhere to be found. I can't be sure because I haven't looked at all the tapes of Jamie Raskin, but I don't remember a single Democrat asking Biden's Attorney General about the Epstein story or the files. They wanted nothing to do with it back then. Now that they can use it to make Trump look bad, they love the Epstein files. And because of that, the Epstein story, at least right now, won't die, and it is starting to irritate Donald Trump.
I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff. Pretty bad people, including fake news, want to keep something like that going. But credible information, let them give it. Anything that's credible, I would say, let them have it.
And therein lies the problem for the president. Epstein is dead. Dead men tell no tales. But the Epstein saga, the conspiracy, keeps growing. And this is the five-alarm fire right now, politically speaking. It's largely because of Trump's supporters. Trump's supporters started the Epstein story. But as you will see, they aren't the only ones now behind it.
It's just a red line that it crosses for many people.
I do think that there needs to be more transparency on this.
We have an absolute right to demand sensible answers. And the first question is, who the hell was Jeffrey Epstein working for?
I don't think the Justice Department and the FBI have the confidence of the American people to get to the bottom of it.
But President Trump,
find them guilty and hang them publicly.
I will do his entire genealogy backwards and forwards, including everybody around him, hit their genealogy before we let go of this.
Why did they say there was thousands of hours of tapes of people doing horrible shit? Just bomb Iran, and everybody forgets.
Just bomb Iran, yeah.
Everybody forgets about it.
Now, Donald Trump said for everybody to move on last week. It was on Tuesday. He's tried to change the news cycle, and to be fair, the president has to do other things than just talk about the Epstein files, but there's been the announcement about Ukraine and the massive arms package. His administration has announced investigations into the men behind the Russia probe. Trump announced that he might revoke Rosie O'Donnell's citizenship, but nothing, and there's a reason for this, is as exciting as the story of a billionaire pedophile who may or may not have been a spy and who may or may not have killed himself. Democrats now want nothing more than to keep Epstein in the news. Last week, the DNC launched a new account on Twitter that posts messages each day reminding its followers that Trump has, quote, not released the Epstein file. This is their account. This is why Washington is a terrible place. This is why you watch NewsNation, because we will call out both sides equally, show you what is happening and why it is happening. The account has also reposted Trump-focused Epstein-related criticism from key social media influencers on the right. Think about that. The DNC is now reposting people like Tucker Carlson because they agree with them. Now Trump is trying to pivot.
These files were made up by Comey. They were made up by Obama. They were made up by the Biden. We've gone through years of it. But she's handled it very well, and it's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release.
And that is where Trump is pushing this story towards. Attorney General Pam Bondi. He is putting her up, maybe not so much as the fall person yet, but Pam Bondi is the one who promised to release the files back in February. She was the one who said the client list was on her desk. She's the Attorney General. What she says matters. Democrats and the left-leaning media want this to be a Trump crisis. They claim he promised a full release of the files, bar none. But that actually isn't true either. After last night, and after we talked about that claim with Bill O'Reilly, we went back and checked. If you listen to Donald Trump, we're not talking about Bondi right now, we're talking about Trump. If you listen to Trump during the campaign, even going back to 2020, Trump's actually been incredibly consistent.
Barr is working on that. That's his department, not my department. But we have a very capable Attorney General, so that's really up to him. I'm not involved.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you know, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. Yeah, I'd certainly take a look at it. Now, Kennedy's interesting because it's so many years ago. You know, they do that for danger, too, because, you know, it endangers certain people, et cetera, et cetera. So Kennedy is very different from the Epstein thing. But, yeah, I'd be inclined to do the Epstein. I'd have no problem with it.
Pushing this off on Bondi, and to be fair, Trump never promised to do this, makes her the person to blame. She is the one who put out the binders of the Epstein files that were things that had already been released. She's been the one who talked about this. So Trump is not publicly admitting it yet, but Pam Bondi seems to be the one headed towards a reckoning. Trump warrior and Speaker of the House Mike Johnson is already demanding information from her and from Epstein's associate Ghislaine Maxwell.
Pam Bondi, I don't know, when she originally made the statement, I think she was talking about documents, as I understood it, they were on her desk. I don't know that she was specific about a list or whatever, but she needs to come forward and explain that to everybody.
All right, so it won't be long until we see Pam Bondi on Capitol Hill. She was asked about it today. She punted. The main problem for Trump is, unlike past crises like Signalgate, MAGA doesn't want him to deliver someone's head. MAGA doesn't want him to go after somebody. MAGA right now, that might change, wants the files. And if he can't deliver, then he'll have to deliver somebody else.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.